Welcome to the deep dive. We take your sources, boil them down, and give you the key insights fast. Today, we're tackling a really common one, datings tab. Who pays for everything? This is this age-old question, right? Should men always cover the costs in a relationship? Our sources, well, they've got a lot to say, different angles, different takes. Okay, let's unpack this. So for a long, long time, there was this really strong expectation, wasn't there? The man pays. Period. And our sources point out it wasn't just, about the cash itself. It was symbolic, seen as chivalry maybe, a sign of respect, showing he could like provide or protect. The gesture, grabbing the bill, sometimes felt as important as the actual number on it, kind of a cornerstone of old school dating.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating now, what the sources really dig into, is how that stacks up against today. With everything changing around gender roles, we talk a lot about equality, right?
Mhm.
Women earning their own money, leading companies, fighting for equal rights. It does make you ask, does that old expectation still fit? If we want equality everywhere else, shouldn't that include, well, who pays for dinner? It's a real tension that's clear from the material we looked at.
Yeah, and here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit stressful for people. Just the practical side of it. Dating today, it's expensive. Think about it. You've got dating app fees sometimes, maybe a new outfit, getting an Uber or whatever, and then the actual date food, drinks, activities. If the guy is always expected to pay for all of that, date after date, well, that adds up super fast. It can be a serious financial hit.
Right. And what kind of message does that send? That's another thing the sources brought up. Does it sort of imply, even unintentionally, that a guy's main value is his wallet, what he can spend? But it's tricky because the flip side, which also came up, is that splitting everything, like down to the penny, even for a coffee,
Ah.
that can feel really clinical. Transactional was the word used. You got to kill the romance a bit, maybe. Turns it into accounting. So you've got this push-pull between fairness and, keeping that warmth.
Exactly. So, with all that complexity, the history, the modern costs, trying not to feel like you're in a business meeting, how do people actually figure this out? The sources did offer some ideas, some frameworks. One that really caught my eye was this three-rule split theory. It's like a suggested path, trying to mix the old and new.
Yeah, I saw that too. It's quite practical, actually. Rule one for the first date, the suggestion is the guy pays. Described as that old school move, still strong, sort of sets a nice tone, maybe, welcoming.
Okay, so first date, he pays. Then what?
Then, rule two, second date. The other person should offer to split, or maybe even offer to treat entirely. And this is key. It shows they're interested in the person, not just there for the free food, as one source put it. Shows respect, willingness to contribute.
Ah, okay. So it shifts the dynamic pretty quickly towards being more mutual.
Exactly. And then rule three is for when things get more serious, like long term.
Sure.
And the consensus there was pretty clear. You got to talk about money openly, honestly. The goal should be creating team energy, not scoreboard energy.
Right.
It's about partnership, not keeping track of who paid for what last time. It tries to build that partnership vibe.
Makes sense. So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway for you listening to this? One core idea that really resonated across the sources was this. If someone only values you when you're paying, they're not dating you, they're dating your money. It's a bit blunt, maybe, but it really cuts to the heart of it, doesn't it? Look for genuine connection, not just transactions.
Absolutely. And building on that, there was another really thought-provoking point. If someone, feels less masculine or their pride takes a hit just because they didn't pay for one date or someone else offered to chip in, well, maybe the issue isn't really about the money. The sources suggested maybe the ego needs more work than the bank account, which is pretty powerful, right? It
Yeah.
pushes us to think about where self-worth really comes from. Hint.
Mm.
It's probably not just about who picks up the tab. It's about partnership, respect, deeper stuff.
So, a lot to think about there. What really stands out to you from this deep dive into dating's tab?